coming to you from New York, and here are some of the stories that we're tracking for you today. First up, jobs numbers for January came out Friday, and they were pretty much fantastic. I'll break down what gained where coming right up. Then Pippa Malmgren is on the show. Pippa sat down with my colleague Edward Harrison earlier today to discuss the jobs numbers. Plus, Franklin University professor Andrea Terzi joined us from Switzerland earlier to talk about the latest drama happening over in Greece and what it means for Euroland as a whole. You definitely don't want to miss a moment, and it all starts right now. It's the first Friday of the month, which can only mean one thing. It's BLS numbers time, and they were amazing. Yeah, true story. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, U.S. non-farm payrolls grew by 257,000 jobs in January. And at the same time, data for November and December was revised to show a whopping 147,000 more jobs created than previously reported. Not only that, wages rebounded as well. Wages increased 12 cents last month. That's the largest gain since June 2007. That took the year-on-year gain to 2.2%, which is the fastest since August. Now, the pickup in wages is likely to combine with lower oil prices to provide a massive tailwind for consumer spending and keep the U.S. economy growing at quite a healthy clip. And in addition to firmer wages and job growth, the labor force participation rate, which is the share of working-age Americans who are employed or at least looking for a job, that rose 0.2 of a percentage point to 62.9%. The employment-to-population ratio rose to 59.3%, which is the highest since July 2009. The manufacturing sector added 22,000 jobs last month, while construction payrolls increased 39,000. In fact, the only employment sector that really fell was oil and gas extraction, obviously a reflection of the layoffs connected to lower oil prices. The Federal Reserve, which has held benchmark borrowing costs near zero since December 2008, ramped up its assessment of the labor market last week, and economists said that the jobs data raises the prospect of the Fed pushing rates higher sooner rather than later, despite inflation running below its 2% target. Now, it's important to note that when you look at the bigger picture of unemployment, it tells a very different story. In fact, the unemployment numbers can be quite ambiguous. Jim Clifton recently wrote an op-ed on Gallup.com saying, quote, "There's a reason why the official rate is misleading. Say you're an out-of-work engineer or healthcare worker or construction worker or retail manager. If you perform a minimum of 1 hour of work in a week and are paid at least $20, maybe someone who pays you to mow their lawn, you're not officially counted as unemployed. Few Americans know this." Listen, while I do agree with Clifton that the way we calculate for unemployment is just nutty and it's actually quite disingenuous, I have to say that all in all, I'm pretty happy to report these very warm U.S. jobs numbers on this very cold February day. To talk about this month's jobs report, my colleague Edward Harrison was joined earlier by Dr. Pippa Malmgren, founder of DRPM Group and author of Signals, the breakdown of the social contract and the rise of geopolitics. Now, in this segment, Edward first asked Dr. Malmgren what she thinks about the jobs numbers. Here's what she had to say.
I think it was a great jobs number, and I do think the most important part was the jump in the hourly wages. I think it's important for two reasons. One, the Federal Reserve is doing its level best to create inflation, and everybody says it can't happen until wages start to rise. Well, wages are starting to rise, so we should keep an eye on that. And second, I think it reflects the incredible competitiveness of the United States versus the rest of the world. A lot of jobs in manufacturing, medical technology, Silicon Valley-related stuff. But the real economy in the U.S. is powering ahead, and I'm impressed.
You know, the Fed has actually said that they are looking for that signal that you're talking about. So what does the Fed do with this data in terms of its reaction function going forward?
Well, in theory, they should commence the process of raising interest rates. In practice, I think they're going to find every excuse on the planet not to actually do it and to string out the rate hikes for as long as possible, which means we continue to have an environment that's highly in favor of growth and inflation. So I think they're going to take risks with inflation on the upside.
Interesting.